Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you back to another live streamed session of our Suzerain playthrough. The first live stream of the week, actually. This week's been an absolutely insane one. There's so much going on all at once for the channel and then also beyond the channel as well. It's been an interesting week all around. Again, if you follow me on Twitter and stuff, you'll know most of what's been going down, so I will not bore you with all the details, but I'm glad that we were able to squeeze in a continuation of our Suzerain playthrough today because you know what, they're a nice way to wrap up the week. I feel like, you know, nothing like kicking your weekend off with a little bit of despotism. I don't know how to put it. But yeah, I do apologize for the slight delayed start today, folks. Not been feeling 100% as you can imagine. Maybe overdoing it a bit this week, but hopefully that won't stop us from having a full and fruitful session. Folks, a warm welcome to all y'all hanging out. We got Jazzy B, Natalie P, Ted Knight, B-Store for Wickles, Ren, Sacha Perisola, Gaming Boy, and Marcus. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Oh, it's nothing bad, Ted. No, nothing bad. It's just everything's been happening at once. I've got a pretty fun video that should be dropping later today. I've got another one that's dropping, or should be dropping, tomorrow. Steam Next Fest happened, and obviously that's a limited time to get a lot of time spent looking for good games to talk about, so I've got that coming soon as well. It's just everything happened all at once, and it's all really good, exciting stuff, and I can't wait till I get those videos out there. But it's been, you know, keeping me tied down, up later, or up earlier, or not sleeping, or you know how it is, right? So it's been an interesting week, and it's sort of come to a head now. I'm starting to feel like a little tired. That's why we had a slow start today, or I had a slow start today, I guess. Also this past Monday was anniversary with the lady of the house, so you know we had obviously plans for that, which I wasn't going to move around. You know, last week Sunday was a horrible mess. If you're in Discord, you'll know I had a weird kind of a I don't want to overplay it, but I was a little concerned about my eye. There's no other way to put it. If I say health concern, it sounds scarier. But everything's fine. But Sunday was a hot mess, and that delayed me by a whole 24 hours. It's been a wild week, folks, and I'm glad to be here, standing, playing some Suzerain, clicking that resume button, and trying to keep things under control, because things are very much getting out of control. Yeah, just workaholic stuff, basically. Minor complications last week Sunday, but that sort of cascaded into bigger problems, but we're fine. We're fine. Everything's a-okay. But yeah, I'm excited to release some of these videos that I've got planned. Hopefully, I meet my sort of self-set deadlines of today, tomorrow, and Monday, alongside all the usual, Let's Play stuff, of course. But folks, today we're here to continue our Suzerain gameplay. And last session, what happened last session? Everything started to become such a blur. There's so much chaos at any given moment, honestly. I'm glad that we didn't read the news, because we can read it now and catch up with everything that went down. We did ultimately decide to privatize everything. If I recall correctly, well, no, actually, we didn't privatize everything. We decided to privatize one of the two of the big four that wasn't private. I believe, have we not made those decisions already? We did. It was the mining group that we privatized, whereas the state, the construction company, we left as is, if memory serves me right. Then we had Walter Tusk and his counterpart. I always forget his name. The media conglomerate guy. They both came to my office, gave me various gifts. One gave me a bottle of liquor, another gave me a sports car, and they tried to get sort of early dibs on the stocks for that mining corporation. And I had to decide, either none of them get preferential treatment, they both have to wait, or one of them gets preferential treatment. And we did give that treatment to the man whose name I can't remember. What is his name? I'm trying to remember. Conradi? Conrad's the name of the place where he's based. Man, the name is escaping me right now. Marcel, right? Caronti, there it is, Caronti. That's why I mix it up, is because Conrad is where we meet him the first time, if memory serves me right, and it's Karanti. Yeah. So he's the one who got preferential treatment there, not only because he got me a supercar, but also because he controls the media. And my dealings with Tusk, as far as I was concerned, were sort of like an ongoing thing, in the sense that, you know, as long as he goes on paying me bribes, I'll go on helping him out. But he didn't. He gave me that one bribe. I gave him that one favor in return. You know, if he wanted more out of me, he should have given me more, but he decided not to, I guess. Whereas Karanti kept it interesting. Let's put it that way. He kept it interesting. He called us before we went ahead and privatized those businesses. So, you know, he got the rewards, and we got the rewards in return as well. In fact, apart from the car, he gave us a little bit of extra cash as well, so that was excellent. Can't complain about that. We're definitely playing to character. But the big issue that's going to arise from this decision is that the old guard really didn't want privatization. In fact, our chief strategist said over and over again that privatization is going to upset the old guard. They're not going to like it, not just in the sense of the Supreme Court, which of course we're going to be dealing with, I'm sure, in the very near future as we try to ensure we're not thrown in jail for the Emergency Act, but also just in our party itself. The conservative wing of the USP prefers to have those state entities remain as state entities, so they'll be upset at me as well. So quite a bit going down here against me. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. Throwing some banners in the chat for P. Appreciate it, Ren. Appreciate it. Always nice to see those flags fly high. Softened sounds. Going all right. Been a bit of a crazy week, but going all right apart from that. Wickles, I'm right there with you. They're going to start getting in our way for sure. I need a quick sip of water over here, folks. Classified, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it today. Having a good one, I hope. How has everyone's week been? It's weird not streaming for a whole week. How's everyone's week been? Y'all been good? Y'all been getting up to some good stuff, enjoying the beginning of fall, I think, for most of you. Autumn. I've always preferred autumn. It sounds so much more, I don't know, autumny, you know? God, water's so good. It's actually Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. Monday is a long weekend, but that doesn't stop us. Obviously, we'll be having our Crusader Kings live stream on Monday still. But, you know, it's a Thanksgiving long weekend. I don't know how many of y'all are in Canada, but long weekend up ahead of y'all, if you are. Spindle, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it, man. Can we sacrifice them to the blot or something? I wish it was that easy to get rid of the old guard. I wish you could, like, head out assassinations and stuff, man. I wish you could. All right, the Hall Sword Post. What do you have to say? Police launch successful raids. Well, actually, let's start from the bottom here because it's always in the reverse order, right? Privatization of Nadam Mining Group. There it is. Today, the government has announced changes to the ownership of one of the two largest state corporations in Sordland. Under President Rain's new privatization plan, the entirety of Nadam Mining Group, including all subsidiaries and operations, will now belong to the private sector. This move is estimated to reduce the effects of the recession. However, there is still uncertainty and speculations among the experts of the state. The upcoming months will show the reality behind President Rain's decision. Sorry, I am curious actually, because our budget has improved since this sale, but our economy hasn't reflected any of these recent changes. So we'll see what comes of it. Hopefully, some positive change. It's just nice to see the budget be green again. That's a rarity. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah, Jamie Woodley, I wish you could declare war as well. I mean, I hope it comes soon, because a declaration of war against Roomberg might actually, you know, save our hide over here against the prosecution that our opposition party has set forth. Spindle, doing all right. Been a wild week. I was just talking about so much going on. Getting some football in. Feeling fit, Spindle, or the exact opposite of it. Classified been fun. Kid took a driving test, got rear-ended, and the guy took oh no! Wow! What are the chances of that happening during a driving test? Also, I read diving test at first, and then I saw rear-ended, and I was like, what does it mean to get rear-ended while you're diving? Like, you know, like swim team diving? Then I realized I'd read it completely wrong. Oops. Going into spring here in Northern Australia, so I spent the week melting inside my house. Oh man, I bet it gets real hot. No matter where you are in Australia, I bet it gets real hot. Dang. Oh man. Alright, police launch successful raids. Earlier this week, the police launched raids on shops and warehouses in Arvory City and Estord City. Their operations are reported to confiscate more than 2,000 illegal firearms and drugs. Okay. The captain of the police force in charge of these raids has released a statement saying that the shops are from the two notorious crime families, the Skinner and the Coronelli family. Those operations were only possible due to the law enforcement budget increase. It has allowed us to launch investigations with the local police, purging the corrupted ones and getting information about their networks, said the Ministry of Interior. It appears that thanks to President Anton, law and order will soon come back to Sordland. I was thrown off because it's like 2,000 illegal firearms makes sense, but 2,000 illegal drugs? There's a unit there missing, like 2,000 kilograms, 2,000 tons, like what are we... 2,000 what of drugs? 2,000 like paper baskets, you know? So that threw me off. I was like, wait, that's not how that works. The Economist has this to say. Rain determined to end recession. President Rain has shown that he has what it takes to stop the recession as he announced his most ambitious plan to date, complete privatization of Nadam Mining Group. Solving the recession may not be an easy task, but this is a definitive step to end it once and for all. In the short term, the assets of Nadam Mining Group will be completely privatized and procured by the highest bidder. In the long term, this will trigger revitalization of our economy by introducing a healthier competition in the Swedish marketplace. This healthy competition will be the key in stopping the recession due to the improved efficiency as a result of it. Privatization is the solution to the recession, and President Rain has proven that this time he will fix the errors of his predecessors. Good stuff. Good stuff. Southern Cap, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, again, you know what to do. As always, hit that like button down below. It does make a very big difference, and just let me know what people are enjoying on the channel. And if you're watching the VOD, likes and comments go a long way. 2,000 sellable units of drugs. Yeah, it's just like, what? Yeah, it's like, what? Just 2,000 drugs. Yeah, it's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What do the numbers mean? God, do people still reference that Black Ops? This goddamn meme. Oh my god, that's so long ago. Black Ops, man. What a weird ending that game had. What a weird ending. Invitation to the movie premiere. Okay, interesting. What's going on at Hallsword? Oh, Roomberg Whistleblower arrives. Wow. We're actually making pretty good speed. This is episode... What episode are we on here? 15, right? I feel like we're making pretty good speed as far as progress through the game is concerned. Turn 7. Wow, you know what? Jazzy B, it might actually be time for what's it called pretty soon? Oh my god. Disco Elysium. I couldn't remember the name for the life of me. Like I said, folks, slow day. Alright, what's going on here? Read the report from Hallsword. Negative presidential approval rating. Oh, come on. Recent approval rating polling conducted by Chief Strategist Galade has shown that we have landed below the 25% approval rating. Our administration's performance has been widely questioned by the diverse poll taken by 1,000 attendees from all the regions of Sordland. We're fine, we'll be okay. Put all the other voters to death, you mean, Wickles? All the people who voted against us in the poll? Nadam, bought by Marcel Caranti. As of today, the Nadam Mining Group is officially owned by Marcel Caranti. The CEO of Heart of Sordland is extremely grateful for our decision and promises that the press will support the administration. However, there are voices of discontent within the USP, and we should be expecting some pushback within the assembly. Yeah, this is going to get really interesting, because on the one hand, the press is with us, and the public might be steered to like us, but at the same time, I'm hearing that our approval is like below the 25% threshold. Like, what the hell? The press better work real hard, man. Real hard. The first run lasted around 22 episodes. Okay, yeah, so I think we're on track then, I guess. Oh, what it was time for. Gotcha, Wickles. Roomberg, you know, let's deal with this movie premiere first. Let's have a good time before we get into the nitty-gritty. Cinema Anglais de Erlery. At Erlery. I've been invited to an exclusive preview of Alfred Cheerbook's new film, The Morning Shall Come. This is obviously like a Kubrick reference, right? The Morning Shall Come. Although I wasn't in much of a movie-going mood, it would have been unpresidential not to attend. Besides which, Peter had worked hard with the producers to make this screening possible during the emergency, albeit with limited attendance and heavy security. With its massive budget and Cheerbook's directorial cachet, this drama was set to be a milestone for Sordland's burgeoning film scene. Personally, though, I was just looking forward to spending some time with my family. We have had much less family time with this playthrough. Much less family time, it feels like. Fewer dinners and stuff like that, right? Fewer conversations with Monica and all. It was a very hot and sunny day as Serge drove us to the old capital. The film was to be screened in the historic Cinéma Anglais de Erlery, the very first cinema in Sordland. Serge had maxed out the air conditioning to keep the Cadilla comfortable, but that wasn't the only reason I felt a chill in the air. I noticed Frank fidgeting with his tie anxiously. Worried about the university exam, son? Since when do you care what's happening in my life? You know I'll support you whether you pass or fail those exams. What an honor, Your Highness. Monica suppressed a smirk. I turned to Deanna. Excited for the movie, sweetie? Deanna nodded happily. Finally, some support in this damn family. God damn. I'm trying to run a country here. Y'all could show at least some support. Jesus, man. This is why we're not spending time with the family, because every time I do, it's the 3rd degree. Ted Knight. Yeah, man, for real. Bring out that belt, for real. Goddamn Frank. Monica encouraging this behavior. What is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? FMTK. Yeah, the economy's not doing so hot, but the budget is the hottest it's ever been outside of, right at the beginning of the game. So I really hope that reflects in the economy and things will turn around. Deanna is the best child, honestly. God, we need more Deannas in our family. Thank goodness Peter and Gus have your back. Hey, you know what they say, right? The family you choose. Don't worry about me, Papa. You've got the whole country to worry about. I can't. This kid gets it. How old is she? Deanna, how old are you? How old is this kid? She's like what? What does she look? She looks like what? 7, 8? Like less than 10? I don't know. I can't tell. I'm bad at this. I've always been bad at this. She understands. I'm a busy man. I got stuff to do. Everyone else is being a pain in my... Anyway. I'm just fine, Deanna. Everything's going to be wonderful from now on. Right, Monica? Yeah, as if I'm going to involve her in this conversation. All I'm worried about is whether or not there will be popcorn. Thanks for the reminder. Okay. Can you imagine just going like, oh, God. Gee, thanks, daughter. I want to say, too, is like a joke. You know? The economy is probably only as low as it is now because we failed to get a deal with Agnolia. I think you mean because they failed to make a deal with us, Jazzy B? But yeah, I think so. I think the missing trade deal is definitely hurting us. Give her a car. Yeah, why are we driving the Cadilla? Why don't we go in our little sports car, right? Just Deanna and I, To hell with Monica and Frank. I think 2 here makes sense. I think 2 is like nice and friendly. Haha, I just hope there's popcorn for us, as opposed to involving this. I don't know what's up with her. Why I don't know why she's so upset. All I'm worried about is whether or not there'll be popcorn. Deanna giggled. Okay, good. See, best kid. Exactly, Spindle. 100% favorite. I sure hope so. Why are we involving Monica? Let her goddamn be, damn it. These are all extremely risky picks, man. These are all extremely risky picks. Grateful, how's it going, buddy? I'm good, thanks for asking. How about yourself? Waited so long for your live stream? Yeah, it's been a week. I do apologize for the missing live streams this week. I'm hoping to return to normal real soon, folks. This always happens close to the end of the year. I guess everything gets busy, right? Comes to a head and everything starts getting a little less stable. But hopefully we'll be back on schedule next week, buddy. Joshua, your favorite kid too? I mean, there's no disliking Deanna. She's perfect in every way. She's too young to be, ruined by all the negativity in the world, I guess. 2, because that'll shut Monica up too. Oh, damn, Jazzy. I did not read it that way at all. I read it differently. See, okay, so the way I read it was everything's going to be wonderful from now on, isn't it, Monica? And Monica's going to come back with some, some nonsense about like, women's rights, blah, blah. 3, you've been awfully quiet. I can imagine the clapback. Something like, isn't that what you want? One of those, stupid lines of like, yeah, that's what you wanted, isn't it? You know what I mean? And then 2, I was reading it as like a no more politics talk, isn't that right, Monica? And again, same thing. She'd be like, yeah, that's how you'd like it for the women, for your daughter to be silenced like I am, that kind of nonsense, which you probably still will do. But the way Jazzy B puts it, 2 could be just a reminder. Sounds terrible. Now, no more politics. And then like a glare towards Monica. Isn't that right, Monica? God, it's terrible. I'm gonna go with that one. She's gonna come back with something like, yeah. Silence your daughter like you silenced me. Guarantee you. This minefield of a conversation. Now, no more politics talk. Isn't that right, Monica? Of course. Let's just focus on having a nice time at the movies. You know what? Props. I can give kudos to that. Monica folded her arms. We drove on in silence. As long as her kids can't read body language, I can give kudos to that, I suppose. I spoke too soon. Serge rolled down the soundproof glass between us. Sir, we're about to enter Erlery. We'll be at the cinema in a few minutes. Yeah, thank you, Serge. I think that's the friendliest of the three options. Again, the family you choose. I took a brief look outside as Serge rolled the soundproof glass up again. I could see the many towers of Erlery rising over what was left of the old city walls. Serge knocked on the glass and gestured forwards. We were at the main square of Erlery, and the historic Cinema Anglais, the Cinema of Angels, was right in front of us. I kept reading that as the English cinema, like it's the one theater where all the English movies play in English, you know, like a foreign culture center like that. But anyway. Is this the place? Yeah. It was an old Baroque-style corner building with walls that looked like marble from a distance. There were exquisite ornaments on each side of every window. Serge pulled the car to the entrance of the building, which was lit by vivid neon stripes in many colors. On the wall next to the entrance, there was painted words. Stop the oppression of Bloods. Now they're turning to vandalism. Man. Come on. Let's get out. Serge opened the doors, and we exited onto the red carpet. As the police escorted us inside the cinema, a journalist broke through our security cordon and started running at me. As soon as he yelled, "Mr. President!" one of the policemen kicked him in the back and forced him down onto the ground. Another grabbed me by the suit jacket and quickly ushered me away. Who is this? Oh, just a regular policeman. I was like, this isn't Carl. Excuse us, Mr. President. He motioned for me and my family to continue along the security corridor. Ooh, don't touch me again. No. He's trying to keep me alive. He's trying to keep me safe. That man who claims to be a reporter could just easily have been carrying a knife, you know, a gun, trying to get into point-blank range to finish me off. No. Follow along. If there were no more Bloods, there would be no more oppression. You know what? I got nothing I can add to that. Well put, Jazzy B. Well put. FMTK divorce is coming. Yeah, I should hope so. Oh, well, actually, not really. We're traditionalists, right? But if Monica wants a divorce, it means she's lost to us in more ways than one. For how long have I been streaming? We just started, Grateful. We just started about like 25, 30 minutes ago or so. Follow along, silently. In contrast with the cinema's Baroque-style exterior, the inside was modern and sleek, with bare walls painted in black, red, and white. I love when a place retains its facade. We do that a lot in Toronto, at least, where like there are rules for like historical buildings, where if you're going to build something new, you have to like maintain the facade so it still looks like the old style building. I'm glad that that's like the least a place can do that has like historic buildings. I'm glad that Sordland does it as well. The film's cast and crew were already in the foyer, with glasses of champagne in their hands. As they noticed us and our many guards, the mood in the room immediately soured. We approached the crowd and were welcomed by the producers and the event organizers. A man walked up to us with quick steps. Madame, Mr. President, it's so good to see you here. He gently bowed at Monica and shook our hands. It's an honor to meet you. I'm Alfred Cheerbook. Who? No. The honor is mine, Mr. Cheerbook. I'm a big fan of your work. Frank snorted. I glanced at him and he innocently took a sip of his cola. It's very humbling to know that you've been watching and enjoying my movies. If you don't mind my asking, which one was your favorite? This one may be slightly different than my previous works. Oh, good old... All of them are my favorite. The Man Who Saved the World makes me think of The Man Who Sold the World, and that's why I'm kind of, like, inclined. The Swordish Dream sounds the most, like, nationalistic. Like, capital N nationalistic, you know? So I might go with that. I might go with that one. Can you even trust the policeman? I know Spindle, right? That's the thing. It's like, I don't even know if if we can trust the police outside of Carl Greaser, right? Jazzy B, I blame the Mongols for my embrace of the dark side. How about today's intro, huh? I couldn't remember if I released that episode earlier today or if I was going to release it later today, but I believe it is. It's out there right now. I remember now some of the comments coming through. How about that episode? Conrado, how's it going, buddy? Just a reminder, divorcio doesn't have to be legal if we don't want... Oh my god. Dark, real quick to the dark side there. Sword of Stream definitely sounds, I think, a bit more traditional, yeah. Classified, absolutely excellent song. And still one of my favorite uses of it is in Metal Gear Solid. I think it's so brilliantly used. In England, there are different types of listed status for historic buildings that control what can be done with them inside and out. You know, I actually read a very funny story about England and its rules about historic buildings and just how granular the details can be and how specific England can be about maintaining construction styles and things like that for historic buildings. It was really fascinating. The story was funny because it was about a foreman who was giving one of the few experts in the field of a specific era a lot of just flack, and so that guy quit, and all the other people that were available for the project weren't available for several months later, pushing the entire project back. And it's just a good story about karma and sweet justice, and I actually learned a lot about English rules about historic buildings. I will check that channel out, Jazzy B. I love that kind of stuff. All right, I loved The Swordish Dream. Oh, really? Then you might enjoy this one too. Oh no, what have I done? I'll admit, I didn't expect you to be such a cinephile. Frank looked me in the eye and struggled not to laugh. Kid, I will... Why don't we take our seats? It's about to start. We entered the screening room, the lights dimmed, and the film began. It was a period drama set in the 1870s about a swordish soldier who pursues a doomed romance with a widowed Blutish farmer during the conquest of Bergia. I wondered briefly whether Cheerbook was commenting on my own treatment of the Blutish people, but then he had finished filming long before I became president. That's not how it works. As the credits rolled, I made an early exit to use the men's room. I was washing my hands when I heard an unmistakable voice behind me. Oh, damn. Okay, this music shift, this turn of events. So, what did you think? Tarkin Saul leaned on his cane. He had aged noticeably since the last time I saw him, his appearance far more frail. Yet beneath it all, I could still sense the raw magnetism that had kept him in power for 20 years. Yeah, some of that raw magnetism in the washroom, baby. Found the plot questionable, but it certainly looked spectacular. Okay, complete and utter drivel. What about yourself? Dangerous pro-Blutish propaganda. I ought to have it banned. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards 3, I think. Yeah, this music, though. Sorry, Joshua, the guy at the bottom left. Oh, are you talking about the previous screen when we had all those people, or do you mean myself? I think 3 is the way to go over here. Sealtith, our hero. Should we turn around and salute? Dangerous pro-Blutish propaganda. I ought to have it banned. And then to celebrate that statement, we have... oh, I hope I'm not butchering this pronunciation. Luke, thank you very much for subscribing, buddy. If you are in chat, don't hesitate to correct my mistake. But I do appreciate the subscription. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. If you're watching it after the fact, a like and a comment goes a long way. Let me know that you're enjoying what you're watching here. Oh, this music is so goddamn good. I really wish they printed on vinyl or something. I'd love to own this. Not an unwise decision, President Rain. I'm surprised to see you here, sir. A man's got to get off his island every once in a while, you know? He smiled, but I could see no mirth on his face. And I wanted to check in on how my country has been faring in my absence. See, so just as a reminder, while we like Saul's policies and while we are Saulist, at the end of the day, let's not forget that we did help usurp him, right? We did help usurp him. We did sort of create the conditions necessary to, well, I mean, who was his replacement, right? let's not forget our involvement in all that, right? So I think your presence, we don't want to make an enemy out of him, right? Your presence is appreciated, but I've got everything under control. Yeah, I'd say decently enough. Yeah. Yes, I can see that. You took the court's advice and extended the state of emergency. Very prudent. Anything to keep my... No. Maybe we should butter him up a little bit. Thanks, Colonel. Your opinion means a lot. I told Hawker you could be counted on to make the right choices. Oh, no. The Puppet Master has a Puppet Master of his own. Where do these strings end? I think playing stupid isn't a bad idea here, maybe. I'm wondering if we just ask him, what do you mean? We're thinking 2? We're thinking 2? Heather Nupp, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, again, you know what to do. Let me know down below. Folks, we have over 20 people watching, but just about 10 likes. If you're having a good time, don't hesitate to hit that like button. I know the crowd gets smaller over time at times because, you know, obviously the playthrough goes on for longer and longer. It's a natural thing to happen. But I enjoy our small crowds coming together, hanging out, just chill vibes. But if you're enjoying it as well, it really helps me to know when you guys drop likes and comments and things like that. Just lets me know that people are still interested and I should keep something going. I'm leaning towards 1. Because I feel like 2 is a little, maybe a little aggressive. This is like, this is pulling out a Sheev Palpatine over here. A little bit. How awkward. Oh my god, Natalie. What do you mean? I think, what do you mean? I think let's play a little dumb. Let's play a little dumb. Let's be, yeah, prudent. What do you mean? Don't be naive, Anton. How do you think I've been spending my retirement? Tending to my garden? I've got to protect my party and my legacy. Hawker and Garasi understand that. I always looked up to you. Just give me a chance to do my job sounds a little like, what's it called? It sounds a little pathetic. Sounds a little pathetic. Do you see me as your puppet? I mean, he's gonna smile it off potentially, but we all know that he does, right? I see. Neither here nor there. I think I could say you could have spoken to me about it directly, just to open up those paths of conversation. I think, you know, potentially. It's how we did business with Tusk and Marcel. Exactly, yeah. So I'm leaning towards 4. Jazzy B, Steel Tith as well, 3 or 4. Akshim 4. Grateful, we are playing a Despot. So I think inarguably, yes, we're playing as a bad character. Making, you know, rather harsh decisions. We're playing as, if we were to justify our behavior, we're playing as a bit of a traditionalist. So that's where all of our decision-making comes from, but also we're playing as a greedy, bribe-taking, ultra-nationalist, so, you know, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. If you want a one-off that's quite different, I suggest... Oh, you got a suggestion in Discord? Okay, I'll check it out, What I was thinking... Okay, maybe if it's a one-off, then that might be worth trying out. Because I was thinking of swapping in Disco Elysium. I've been meaning to play Disco Elysium for the longest time. And I was thinking about doing that on Fridays after this series is done. Just so I can, you know, experience what supposedly is one of the best games to come out in recent times as far as RPGs are concerned. But I'll check out the suggestion as well, but thanks, Classified. Yeah, you could have spoken to me directly. Next time, perhaps I will. Oh, okay, that's exactly what I was hoping for. All right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got my garden to get back to. Someone has to keep the weeds from spreading. He slipped past me and out the door. Soul's security staff and mine were now clustered outside the washroom, forming a buffer against the large crowd that had gathered. "That's Tarkin Soul!" I heard someone scream. His guards closed around him and mine around me. By the time the chaos subsided, I was back in the car with my family, and Soul was long gone. That was a fun interaction. A little different from our previous one in our previous playthrough. I am curious if he's going to start working with us directly or what's going to happen. And I'm also curious what spin the press is going to put on this, because Sol just showing up, you know, obviously having a conversation with the current president is going to raise some eyebrows. But before we look at that, head on over to Suzerain. Bill signed protest in Bergia. What's this now? After passing of the language bill, a wave of Bludish protesters have risen and called for its revocation. Governor of Bergia, Felix Braun, reported that the situation has been brought under control, and the regional police forces have been tasked with increased patrolling duties around the majority Bludish towns in Bergia. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, and of course, you know, there's going to be resistance to everything we do. Everything we did was fully justified. The country needs a strong ruler. Exactly. We're definitely going to have... I can promise... I mean, I imagine there's enough interest in it. I hope there is, but I can... Barring a lack of interest from, like, everybody, I can promise Disco Elysium taking up Friday slots. Now, if there's a one-off we do between now and that kicking off, or between, you know, this ending and that kicking off, that's cool too. But I do really want to play Disco Elysium, and I thought it'd be nice to do it on stream. Shared experiences are always fun. He does have some Palpatine vibes, doesn't he? Original and prequel trilogy Palpatine vibes. Sol approving of us says everything one needs to know about this presidency. In a good way, of course. Yeah, in a good way. Okay, Percy, how's it going? Glad you can make it. Having a good one, I hope. A prequel game. Well, they recently did a release. The developers recently did a release saying they're working on 2 other things. One was like top secret. I forget what they were now exactly. I forget the details. But they're working on 2 things, I think. One for Suzerain, and then there's the other game that's set in this universe. So I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Bludish students drop school in protest. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Is it in protest, or is it because they're lazy and they don't want to get an education and they just want to stay at home, loaf around, become criminals like their parents and their grandparents? Thousands of Bludish students dropped out of their schools in protest after teachers were forbidden to use the Bludish language in teaching. A Bludish teacher who did not abide by the new law was reportedly arrested by the regional police forces of Bergia for teaching mathematics in Bludish. Maybe you should teach them language skills first then. God, what can we expect from them? What else can we expect from them, right? What does the news have to say? Let's start with, you know what, let's start with the sour taste, right? Let's leave the best for last. What does a radical have to ramble on about here? Reign signs racist bill. As disappointing as Anton Reign's presidency has been, we never thought he would stoop this low. The president just approved an NFP-proposed law that makes Sordish the only allowed language in all of the country's educational institutions, with the Ministry of Education in charge of granting specific exceptions. This can only be seen as a deliberate slight against the Bludish people, and kills any hope of Sordland becoming a more diverse and welcoming nation under Reign's governance. We urge you to fight this new law, whether by writing to your local lawmakers, joining protests, or simply showing your defiance by speaking non-Sordish languages in public. Yeah, what language is your paper printed in? How about you change the language of your paper and see how far you get, right? There's a reason why you write in the language you write. Washroom Summit. What are Reign and Sol hiding? At a screening of Alfred Cherbuck's overblown sob story, The Morning Shall Come, President... I'm sorry, it's just such an unnecessary, snide remark at the expense of the film while talking about a significantly more important event. Like, wow, man. Wow. At a screening of Alfred Cherbuck's overblown sob story, The Morning Shall Come, President Anton Reign and former President Tarkin Sol were seen exiting the men's room together. While an illicit assignation is out of the question, or is not out of the question, it is far more likely that the 2 inveterate politicians were making backroom deals about which the Sordish public, as usual, will be kept in the dark. The Radical is committed to getting to the bottom of this meeting, and will keep readers updated as the facts emerge. Fair enough. Lackhaven Times, 1 film, 2 very special guests. An exclusive screening of Alfred Cherbuck's new film, The Morning Shall Come, made a splash, but not for the content of the period drama itself. Instead, the film was overshadowed by the 2 political figures in attendance. President Anton Rain, who made the trip from Hallsword with his family, and the former president Tarkin Sol, barely seen on the mainland since 1949. It is rumored the two of them spoke in the washroom following the film. Some bathroom deals. I like it. It's good play on backroom. It's good. If even the radical finds his film ridiculous, you know it has to be bad. Or it's amazing, and now I'm conflicted. Oh, God. A prequel about Saul would be predetermined. I feel like you could still make that interesting. I mean, okay, mind you, if we're keeping up with the Palpatine comparisons, the prequel trilogy doesn't hold a candle to the original trilogy. However, despite knowing how the prequel trilogy is going to conclude, the story itself is interesting. Or it's like watching a historical film. Like, I don't watch a movie about D-Day to be surprised by the twists and turns. But I don't watch Black Hawk Down expecting reinforcements like not to show up at the end. I don't watch a movie like Dunkirk expecting, you know what I mean? It'd be like a historical experience except for a game's fictional universe. I think it could work. Story of how he went from the hero that ended the Civil War to the cynical, bitter truant. That is a ripe story for telling. It is. Sordland today. New language bill, a milestone for integration. Now we're talking. Blutish separatism is about to become a thing of the past. President Rain has wisely approved a new law that will enforce the teaching of the Sordish language in schools and universities, with rare individual exceptions granted by the Ministry of Education. No more will Blutish and Agno-Sordish people be allowed to live in this country without speaking its language. The promotion of Sordish as a common tongue from kindergarten onwards will lead to greater unity, fewer misunderstandings, and less separation along ethnic lines. We look forward to the bill's implementation. Yeah, I think this works. I don't know how you would roleplay that. I guess that's a good... Yeah, I guess there's definitely a bit of predetermined aspects to the role-playing involved there. I'd be curious, though. It'd be interesting to see the fall of a man who, no matter how he plays, the powers that be result in his corruption, let's call it. I feel like there's an interesting angle there or story to tell there. I would be curious to see how that could be tackled, potentially. I would be curious to see. Bad times have come. I mean, like, literally people are making deals in washrooms. I mean, yeah. It's not the ideal place to be doing politics, I suppose. How does the paper know they didn't just smash in the bathroom? Good point, Wickles. Good point. They were making all sorts of stuff up, but some stuff they're deciding to avoid making up. Prequels are great. Episode 3 was one of the best Star Wars films. I like Episode 3, but definitely not compared to the original trilogy. But again, it's all a matter of, like, I feel like a lot of it is a matter of, like, when you watch them, which order you watch them in, and what you were exposed to first. I've been watching Star Wars since I was a little kid, so the original trilogy holds a very special place in my heart. Warts and all, I stand behind the original trilogy above all. The prequels were all right. Episode 2 was bad. I enjoyed 1 and 3, though. And every time I see a criticism of 1 and 3 being like, it's too much politicking, I was like, that's my favorite part. Oh my god, Jazzy, they weren't making plans. They were making love. Mouse Click, how's it going, buddy? What's the grunt there for thinking about the prequel trilogy? Alright, new law on education and the Sordish language. The Unified Language Act has been signed into law by President Rain after the approval of the Grand National Assembly by majority vote on Thursday, following a 3-hour debate. Gisaro Kibner, who campaigned heavily for the bill, also sought to express his gratitude for the confirmation of the new laws, saying it contained much vital new rules that will unify and protect the integrity of the Sordish language and identity. The new law enforces that the educational institutions of Sordland will teach all classes except for foreign language lessons in Sordish, unless they are given specific approval by the Ministry of Education. It also establishes a list of regulations and penalties against the education centers that do not follow the law correctly. I will say, I do find it just so hypocritical how many people would rather we veto these bills that get passed by the National Assembly, and at the same time those very same people would like to see my veto powers curbed. It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not how that works. So how about you cut the hypocrisy and just be honest with yourselves. If you were in charge, then you would like to have a tyranny of your own. It would just be your rules as opposed to my significantly better ones. That hypocrisy, honestly, really gets to me in a good way. In like the game does a good job of just making me boil with rage every time it comes up, and it comes up often. Star Wars is the rise, fall, and redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Yes. Yeah. 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 I can get behind that, yeah. The one we're making love, it's such a good line still. Great Roman times, making deals in the bathrooms. I mean, true, actually, yeah. And the Roman times, the mafioso, I mean, yeah. Prequels bad? They're passable. They're not my favorite. I'll rewatch the prequels before I ever rewatch the sequels, though. I guess that's a good point of comparison. But again, there's a lot of nostalgia weighing in on that statement, I imagine. A sordid affair? Holy hot damn. Now there's a title. If I was titling these episodes, there's a title I'd keep in my back pocket. Yeah, I do love how, yeah, nobody is squeaky clean, except for Surge. David? Yeah, David's obviously squeaky clean. He's, you could say he's pretty neat. Huh? Huh? Oh man, for those of you that don't remember his last name, and why neat works, because his last name is Whiskey. Anyway, Roomberg whistleblower arrives. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm proud of myself for that one or disappointed in myself for that one. A whistleblower from the Roomberg Security Bureau has escaped to Sordland by crossing the border and turned himself to the authorities in Estor. Agent Chelston Hailstone has promised to reveal extremely sensitive information about the development of a weapons program. We can give refuge to him and risk antagonizing Roomberg, or send him back. I think we will, in fact, grant asylum. There's absolutely no reason not to. We'll grant him asylum and see where this takes us. I always get nervous about those ones, because those ones don't ask, are you sure? Oh, no, Ted Knight. He can be a pawn in our game against Roomberg. Not just in our game against Roomberg, but in our game against the Supreme Court as well. If there is a legitimate threat of war, then my emergency act was not in breach of the Constitution, right? So he could come in handy in more ways than one. What do we have over here? Whistleblower in safe house. After receiving Agent Chelston Hailstone, we have secretly transferred him to a safe house near Antel. The perimeter is guarded by Special Forces units to ensure no escape or rescue attempt can be conducted by Roomberg intelligence. Rescue attempt. The agent is currently being interrogated thoroughly to make sure that the preliminary information provided is accurate. Sounds good. Honestly, every time I read his name, I remember that the new James Bond movie has released. I really do want to watch it. Did not care for the previous one at all. It was really bad. God. But I'm curious about the new one. I am excited to check it out, hopefully sometime soon. News. What do you have to say? Geopolitico. Sordland accepts whistleblower. I'd imagine this to be bigger news, honestly. Much bigger news. FMTK, yes, we did put money into the army. Yeah, into the Air Force specifically. Dead Knight. Oh, you're kidding. I mean, it made sense. It's like, don't need another foreigner just infiltrating our territory. But no, I think he has some uses. Natalie, you gotta go. Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming through. I hope you had a good time. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your Friday. If I don't catch you between now and tomorrow, enjoy your weekend as well, if I don't catch you in the Discord, where I do hope to be hanging out a fair bit this weekend, but we'll see. We'll see how the weekend plays out. Thanks for coming through, though. Have yourself a wonderful Friday. Interrogated thoroughly. Where's Peter? Oh my, Wickles. Oh my. Who is Chelston Hailstone, and what does he know? That's the question of the day, as President Rain has agreed to grant refuge to this rogue national security agent from Roomberg. After escaping to Sordland, Hailstone promised to reveal sensitive government information in exchange for asylum. Whether Rain's decision will be worth the anger and possible retaliation from the Roomberg government remains to be seen. Piro Montero, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, again, you know what to do. Hit that like button down below. Let me know you'd like to see more live streams and more Suzerain on the channel. If you're not watching this, then I hope you're enjoying whatever it is you're watching. Peter solving problems. Yeah, let's call it that. The enemy of our enemy. Yeah, exactly. The enemy of our enemy. Ceremonial duty. Oh, the day of dissension is already here? Okay, hold on. Before we get into that, Dinner with the family at home. Oh God, I don't know what's more stressful. Briefing on the diplomatic strategy. Let's go ahead and deal with the diplomatic strategy over here. Crusader Kings should be back on Monday. Grateful. This past week has just been a very crazy one, which is why we were off schedule. But this Monday we should be back with Crusader Kings 3, continuing our story, having the Pope over for a party. Before we dive into this conversation, I need another quick sip of water over here, folks. Give me one quick second. But yeah, don't worry, we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming next week, I should hope. I mean, Casino Royale was excellent, JB Moodley. Casino Royale was fantastic. Classified, yeah, agreed. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a holiday plan for them. If they're planning I wouldn't be surprised if they're planning again, I know nothing. This is just pure speculation. If they're planning a November, not December. December might be too late, but maybe a early to mid-November kind of a thing for that. We're in mid-October soon? Maybe. We'll see. I am excited for that DLC though. It's gonna be huge. Casual Gamer Dad, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it. Grateful. Well, the plan is always Monday, but I mean, if something comes up, then something comes up. There's nothing I can do about it. The plan is Monday for Crusader Kings always, but like I said, it's been a bit of a hellish week. The doors to the White Room, like everything else in the Maroon Palace's main nerve center, were painted white. I took a deep breath before pushing them open. Time for yet another meeting. At least this time, it was with people who liked me. The attendees rose up from their seats. That's definitely not the line we got last time we had this conversation, right? The last Bond movie was Spectre, and it absolutely ruined, everything. Everything. It was so bad. Because Spectre is the name of the big, evil organization and stuff. It was, I can go on a tangent here. Spectre was bad. Oh, God. The attendees rose up from their seats. Mr. President. Yosef nodded. He and Lucen sat down, while David remained standing. Speak of the devil. Now that you're here, let's talk about our diplomatic strategy. David cleared his throat. Mr. President, if I may, I would like to provide you with a short overview of where we are right now. Go ahead. Although we did not make a trade deal with Agnolia, we succeeded in making one with Welland, which means we have increased our presence in the region. These deals were important pieces of leverage and significant first steps into the global arena. We must now look towards the future. All right, go on. David sat down, pulled out a few papers, and started going through them as he kept talking. Welland and Agnolia were practice runs. We must begin improving our relationship with greater nations. We need to elevate our international standing, especially with the threat of Rumburg looming. Yosef cleared his throat. Thanks to your wise investment, Sordland's army is on its way to becoming a force to be reckoned with. Whether it be Rumburg or anyone else, we can handle outside threats just fine. We don't need to beg for help from anyone. I gotta say thank you for your input. I will consider it. Being friendly won't hurt, right? I think one or two could both work just fine. I'm not being, rude with option number one over here. Being friendly won't hurt. Yeah, these kinds of games are definitely very rare, FMTK. Especially these kinds of games, and these kinds of games extremely well made. Aren't common. Also, Yalving, when I answered your question about the last Bond movie, but I didn't actually say hello. How's it going, buddy? Glad you could come through today. Keen for a superpower sequel? There's so much they can do in this world. Oh yeah, gratefully it can be exhausting. It takes a minute after a Suzerain stream for me to sit down and continue recording. I see the call for 3, Aksham, but again, I won't let Sordland look weak, but having friends isn't necessarily a sign of weakness, as long as they're not going around begging, Being friendly won't hurt, right? That's all I'm looking for. Just to be friendly, just to have a couple people out there who have our back among, international committees and all that kind of nonsense. Got to play the game, right? Got to play that political game. Being friendly won't hurt, right? I agree. There's nothing to be lost by making alliances. A military perspective is important, but these deals are about more than just gaining allies. We also need to consider the benefits to our economy such deals will provide, especially when we are still struggling to end the recession. David took a seat and brought out 2 stacks of documents. At the start of our term, I had a comprehensive trade deal plan laid out. Following the visits to Welland and Agnolia, we were to pursue potential trade deals with 2 greater nations. Volksland is one of them. Oh, dude, I forgot this was an opportunity. Oh, man, Volksland, yes. Oh, man. Just kicking dirt into Agnolia's face. I like it. Even though they're associated with a political entity we don't quite love, the same goes for the other option, which I assume is Lesbia. If we can manage to get them to the table, there is much more potential here than in Welland or Agnolia, because they are one of the most important countries in CSP. A deal with Volksland is a ticket to bring Sordland closer to the United Contanen sphere, which is not what I want. Dealing with countries in the CSP is dangerous. A simple trade deal wouldn't cause issues unless we decide to go further. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad Lucian has an angle on this, because him I trust across the board, more or less. Moving on to Lesbia. Our southern neighbor is one of the wealthiest countries in eastern Mercopa. A trade deal with them would be very beneficial, not just for our economy, but also for our regional and international presence. Not to mention that they are in the Arcasian sphere. I don't want to be closer to these guys either. That's exactly it, Frog. Hello, first of all. I hope you're having a nice Friday, bud. But exactly, an alliance with Volksland will show Agnolia exactly who they pissed off. Honestly, to me, the pettiness of it is such a driving force, right? I feel like the pettiness of it is a +1 to an alliance with Volksland. Lovely Ruby, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. Again, if you are, you know what to do. Let me know down below. Alliances can be a sign of strength. Everyone wants to back a winner. Yeah, that's a good point as well. That's a good point. The cool kids have all the friends, right? Man, we gotta go with Volksland. We gotta go with Volksland, right? I do not wish to get closer with any country in the ATO. The pettiness is in character too. I agreed, Spindle. It's 100% the way to go, I think. That's a valid concern. Dealing with them would mean facing CSP. That is it for the overview. As to the actual contents of the trade deal, Lucian? Lucian pulled out his small notebook and quickly flipped through the pages until he landed on the right one. Looking at my stats here, we now have a small tungsten surplus, which makes an excellent resource for trade. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I need to know your decision before we can proceed. What should we do? Do we want to speak with both Volksland and Lesbia, or just Volksland? Speaking with both, I mean, opens up more doors, right? And we can always shut them later. My only issue is that if we speak to both, you know, they'll know, and they'll use that as a chip against us. They'll be like, so we hear you're talking to the other party as well. We don't like that, or whatever. So we're definitely doing Volksland. The question is, are we doing just Volksland, or are we doing both? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm kind of tempted to do both. Because, again, that just keeps doors open for us, and then we can always close them later, right? Just Volksland, Ted Knight? It's tempting, isn't it? I see a call for 3. 1 call for both. 2 calls for both. So 2 calls for Volksland, 2 calls for both. Lesbia is rich. Lesbia is rich. But I don't think they'll appreciate our activities at the border with Welland. I see another call for just Volksland. If I had to guess the geography of Sordland in the real world, where would you guess it? So, to me, it feels like it's a mix of a few different real world geographies. Because, I mean, a lot of these issues are global across different time periods. So they definitely feel like a mishmash. Another both, another Volksland. You know, let's go with both. Let's go with both. I feel like there's enough, like, what's it called? Back and forth. Enough of a balance there that both makes most sense. By there, I mean in chat. So begin negotiations with both Volksland and Lesbia.
Excellent news. I'll begin at once. That was all I had for today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, gentlemen. He also saluted as we left the White Room. Cool, that was a smooth conversation, I think. Let's go ahead and have a less smooth conversation. Before we deal with the family. Currency loses value against Arcasian lira. Financial reports show that the Sordland ren has steadily been slipping against the Arcasian lira, though the exchange rate has not yet approached the all-time low reached during the Alfonso administration. Yeah, silver lining. What does the news have to say as well? Geopolitical. Rain will visit both Volksland and Lesbia for trade deal. President Rain has scheduled visits to both Lesbia and Volksland to discuss possible trade deals with the leaders of both countries. It is unclear what the goal of these trade talks will be, although some insiders speculate that Rain is hoping to gather allies in anticipation of an eventual confrontation with Rumburg. What is clear is that it will be hard to negotiate with both Volksland and Lesbia simultaneously without choosing sides between either Arcasia or United Contana. We'll see if we can stay non-aligned. That's the hope, right? That's the hope. Glad we get to visit both. Hopefully one will like us. We don't like Agnolia, so hopefully Volksland will back us. Yeah, I really hope us breaking an age-old friendship with Volksland, or rather with Agnolia, will gain us some points with Volksland. What are the bad sides of both? It's just the greater political implication of both, I think. Polio cases explode in Bergia. Oh dear. Concerning news from Bergia, several cases of polio have recently been diagnosed in the region. The outbreak, thought to have originated across the border in Welland, is currently confined to just a few villages which are now under strict quarantine. However, Health Minister Pascal Benewal has called for swift action, including countrywide vaccination, to prevent the case numbers from multiplying. We concur that this disease, which is known to cause paralysis in severe cases, is a serious threat and must be contained at all costs. I really hope this doesn't take us out at the knees, as it were. Isolated polio cases seen in Bergia. Several villages in Bergia have been safely placed under quarantine after a few polio cases were diagnosed in the region. The outbreak is largely confined to Welland, and there is little chance of further infections occurring in Sordland. Even if there was, the disease's most notorious symptom, paralysis, is only seen in a minute percentage of cases, and there is no need to alter the Sordish way of life, as Health Minister Pascal Benewal has suggested with his vaccination program, in order to prevent its spread. No, Hallsword Post, I strongly disagree. No. That's not what I would have them print. Literally, before dealing with my wife and kids, I would rather take a look at everything else. Except for another big event, I suppose. Recession hits workers. As in the rest of Sordland, workers in Gelsord are bearing the brunt of the recession. The manufacturing sector has been hit particularly hard, as a record number of factory workers filed for unemployment over the past month. Well, that's not good. After all the benefits we've given these guys, come on. Both are big regional powers, but Lesbia won't like our anti-democratic ways or our support of Welland. Volksland may dislike our economic approach, but Hegel is such a character, so who knows? Yeah, for real. That's such a great way to put it. Hegel is such a character. I know, Spindle, right? They're supposed to be on our side. I'd expect them to... I mean, what's the game going to do? Have us approve every article that goes to press? But that's definitely not this administration's belief. We definitely need to prevent this spread of this horrible disease. Port of Lackhaven gains new importance. Following the completion of the L1 high-speed railway between Hallsword and Lackhaven, the port of Lackhaven has been experiencing higher traffic than ever. An increasing number of businesses are now choosing to ship their goods by boat as a result of the more efficient transit process. Alright, that's good. Hopefully we'll see that reflected somewhere. And Suzerain over here, new hospital built. Beautiful. Suzerain has just finished construction on its new state-of-the-art hospital, expected to accommodate up to 1,000 patients. The facility was built as part of the new initiative to improve healthcare access in Sordland's rural areas. See? You see? We're getting work done. We're taking care of our people, whatever they might think of us. Alright, dinner with the family at home. Let's do this. I arrived home from work, hung my jacket up, and put my briefcase in the hall. I awaited my usual welcome from Deanna before realizing she was out at one of her art classes. Frank was still at school, and Monica... It had been a long time since she'd come to the door to greet me. From the living room, I heard a muffled sob.
I entered to find Monica sitting on the sofa, a letter in her hands and a look of despair on her face. Darling, what's wrong? Monica pointedly moved a few inches away from me, then handed me the letter. It's from the Department of Education. Frank's university exam results are in. I mean, it's clear what happened here. He failed, didn't he? Just read the letter. I looked at the page. Below Frank's name and address, his score was written. 435 points out of a total of 1,000. At the bottom of the letter, the word failed was stamped in red. All those years of effort, all those private lessons, all down the drain. Oh, God. Does he know the results yet? No, but he should be back from school soon. I just don't understand. Frank's a smart boy. Why would he sabotage himself like this? I heard a key turning in the front door. Frank stomped in. I was about to go straight upstairs when he noticed us both in the living room. Has anyone ever seen Frank pass? Is that a thing, or does he always just fail? Mom? Dad? What's going on? Give Monica an opportunity to start the conversation. I have to mull over this myself still. Frank is a moron, isn't he? A little bit, just a little bit. But he is our kid. We've got his back. Think it's a fixed event? I think so, Jazzy. I think so. Wait for Monica to start the conversation. Your exam results arrived today. Frank sat down, and Monica handed him the letter. He started reading it. Oh, shit. You're a disappointment to this family, Frank. Son, we're not angry at you. I need a moment. He went to the kitchen sink and washed his face. A moment later, he came back. I never thought this would happen. I'm so sorry. You made your mother cry with your actions. God, one of those dads, huh? No. I don't think we're gonna send him to the. See, here's the thing. This is where I'm torn. Do we send him to military school, or do we, get him into a university anyway? Exactly, as Spindle put it. But he's our moron, right? Like, yeah, he's a disappointment. But it's not the end of the world. Because we have money, and money makes the world go around. Exactly. We want Frank to do well in life, Fighting oh my god, I'm once more... Again, the last couple of weeks when we've played Suzerain, I get System of a Down stuck in my head. Our kids don't fight in wars. Our kids don't join the military. Our kids get post-secondary educations, they get comfy jobs, they get beautiful spouses. That's what our kids do. Our kids don't go to war. You know what I mean? Family business. I like it, Grateful. I like it. He is our heir. He needs an education. Exactly. Yeah, y'all see where I'm coming from, right? I know typically you'd think, well, traditionalist values, you want your son to go through the hardships of military life and come out, with discipline and determined and all that kind of stuff. But also, you want your kid taken care of. I don't want my kid fighting in a war. No, I want him safe and sound. Wars are meant to be fought by the other people. He's a doctor in some playthroughs. Interesting. It's not the end of the world. Pretty close, though, isn't it? Frank looked close to tears. Monica put her hand on his shoulder. It's going to be okay, but you really should have studied harder, Frank. I know. So what am I supposed to do now? Yeah. Well, there's always military school, but you're the president's son. You still have options. That's the way to go, buddy. Our heir could also win over the military to secure his rule. I mean, he can do that the way we did it. We served in the military, but that was a different era. But that's not how we won over the military. We won over the military by already being in control and just giving them a couple of, freebies. Well, there's always military school, but you're the president's son. You still have options. Yes! Monica surprised me with her enthusiasm. If Alfonso could get his dimwit son into Kings Hill University, I'm sure Hallsword State would have room for a bright boy like Frank. I'm not going to take life lessons from Ewald Alfonso. I mean, I don't want to shut her down just as she got excited. I'm curious where Frank wants to go. I don't want to force him down a path. I want to have some more options open here. He can take over the army by being president in 1980. Exactly. I love it. I do have connections to the board. Hallsword State would be amazing. A bunch of my friends are going there. I could still come home to do my laundry. Wait, you could also study abroad. No, I won't influence your life. You gotta live with what you've done. Or terrific, Hallsword State it is then. Studying abroad. How do I feel about him studying abroad? I don't think I like it. We kicked up such a fuss about, what's his name? Friends Richter crossing the border and this, that, and the other thing, right? Exactly, he's bright, just panicked. Right, I wouldn't be surprised if he is a smart kid, but he doesn't test well, right? I know a lot of kids like that, and it's really, or I knew a lot of kids like that back when I was a kid myself. It's unfortunate that so much comes down to one written exam. You know, you could know everything in the world, but if you don't test well, all of a sudden it all goes out the window. And I'm sure that's exactly what Frank went through. He's a bright kid. He's a bright kid. Seeing quite a few calls for 2. I see a couple calls for 3. No. He's not going to live with what he's done. The kids of rich people don't suffer consequences. What are you talking about? I think, yeah, can't let those foreign ideas influence him. That's what I'm wondering as well. That's what I'm wondering as well. Yeah, he's our son. He can't be stupid. Exactly. No, Hallsword State it is then. Though it is going to cost us a little bit extra due to the privatization changes. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I wonder... I don't want to see... What I'm worried about... On the one hand, I could say you could study abroad and we could have a conversation going and then maybe end up with more options in general, even locally. But I'm worried that he's going to get caught up in the idea of living far from home, away from mom and dad, being an independent, blah, 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 all that kind of nonsense. And then he'll be disappointed in the literal free ride that he's getting. So, you know what? Terrific. Hallsword State it is then. Though it is going to cost us a little bit extra due to the privatization changes. Thanks so much, Dad. I swear I won't let you down this time. Monica let out a long exhale. Oh, what a day. Who's hungry for dinner? Monica disappeared to the kitchen, Frank to his room, and I went to my office and began making some phone calls. Yeah, Monica, who's ready for goddamn dinner? Goddamn it, I hope you're happy. Goddamn wife. Getting in my way, being upset about everything. I have the family's best interests on mind. And do 3 before chat talks you into choosing 2. No. That was never going to be... 2 was never an option. Kibbener shows support to President. In today's press statement, Kisaro Kibbener of the NFP showed support for President Rain after the court's decision to review the emergency decree. In his speech, he showed full support for the USP leadership, criticized Franz Richter, and called the Supreme Court to do the right thing. Yo, this is a turn of events that I was not expecting. Not that I'm a big fan of the NFP myself, but Kisaro Kibbener, I'll take anybody speaking in my support, and that's actually, it's promising. It's promising, if nothing else. Supreme Court files Urson versus Sordland dissent. The Supreme Court has filed an 8-3 dissent and closed the Urson versus Sordland case today. Chief Justice Hawker dismissed the concurrence of the Ministry of Justice, citing that the Religious Harmony Bill doesn't prevent Bluedish people practicing religion in any shape or form. Further press releases were made criticizing the words of the Vice Minister of Justice. Bluedish constitutional rights won't be in question for some time. Yeah, see, they've got their rights. They're fine. They're doing okay. Before we actually do the day of dissension, I just want to quickly check what's going on over here. Is this about school? Frank will be attending Hallsword State. pursuing negotiations. Alright, cool, just wanted to double check. And what does the news have to say? What does the news have to say? FMTK, I assume you mean that's because of how Monica's been lately and how Frank's failing out of school. I mean, Deanna's great, though. At least Deanna's nice, for now. At least Kibbener is a good Swordish patriot. We can use his support precisely. Precisely. Let's see, the Radical. Again, start with a sour taste, right? Justice failed once again. As expected, the Supreme Court ruled against the Urson versus Sordland case. The massive rights case has struck down any further precedent for an argument to be made against the constitutional rights violations of individuals through legislative action. Chief Justice Hawker argued that legislative action and constitutional acts are not to be confused and that Bludish people are equal under the law. The Solace constitutionalist justices are going as far as they can to bend the truth to hide the inequalities of our society. The fight for justice will continue. Education privatization. Are our children doomed? If they keep skipping out of school, they are. As we expected, Anton Rain's decision to privatize the Sordland educational system has had a seriously deleterious effect. Never seen that word before. Young people in rural and low-income areas are being increasingly priced out of the education they deserve, while a relatively small handful of wealthy families reap the benefits. As proof, witness the higher-than-ever gap between test scores in Narble and Hallsword. We had high hopes for Education Minister Ciara Waldo when Rain first appointed her, but she seems to only be enabling his delusions that corporations will solve all of Sordland's problems. Clearly, they both need to go. Ciara is not going to like that statement. She is not going to like that statement at all. I'm not sure when the Radical can be disbanded, but I am curious to find out how quickly we can get there. Blackhaven Times. Enough with the Bludish protests. Agreed. Once again, the Bludish protests in the country have claimed its toll. This time, the toll was an injured child. On his way home from school, 13-year-old DK unknowingly entered the protest grounds. The police tried to suppress the protesters, and chaos ensued. Trapped between the police and the protesters, he was injured in the following stampede. His treatment still continues in Hallsword General Hospital. When will this end? People are demanding answers from the administration. We're trying our best. We have all the rules in place, but... Bloods, man. What are you going to do? Ashraf Anniversary. Watani Ashraf, hero to some, enemy to others. He is for sure one of the most controversial figures to have ever lived in our country. As his anniversary is approaching, there is one question that is shared in everyone's minds. What will the administration do? Every year, people gather in Suzerain to hold a vigil in the solemn anniversary of his death. They light their candles in his memory and hold cultural festivals. What is different this year, however, are the claims that the Bludish movement will be holding their largest rally yet in Suzerain during the anniversary. Perhaps it is time for the administration to let bygones be bygones and take a step back to display the unity of Sordland to the people who very much need it. I'm curious about how this plays out. I won't be having protests and rallies at this event, but I will allow this event to happen, so we'll have to see how this plays out. The Hallsword Post. Court strikes down Urson versus Sordland. Chief Justice Hawker of the Supreme Court made an announcement after the majority of the justices voted against the violation of constitutional rights for Bludish citizens as proposed by Urson. The landmark case, which was politically charged with the support of WPB and even PFJP establishment, caused a major disagreement between the Ministry of Justice and the Supreme Court. Criticisms were handed over to the Minister of Justice, Nia Morgna, who filed a concurrence. Chief Justice Hawker highlighted the importance of impartial justice once again. Yeah, I'm sure it was very impartial. Alright, good stuff. Things are looking pretty good. I would like to see the industrial zone see more progress, though. And I would like to see this economic development see a bit of progress. But, Welland Trade Report. Oh, hello. The trade deal struck with Welland continues to bear fruit as Bergia sees an upward trend in agricultural exports. Manufacturing industries are also celebrating the decreased production costs that have resulted from the uptick in importation of Wessex oil in the aftermath of Operation Bear Trap. Yeah, it seems like that's not the only thing we imported from Welland, though. Goddamn polio outbreak. But what do we have here? Ceremonial duty for the day of dissension. Let me check something real quick here. Dissension Day. When God sent his divine will down to Saint Dast, it is a nurity thing. Okay, so it is. We should respect this as traditionalists. We should respect this this process and this what's it called? Celebration or what have you. Morning haze surrounded the city of Dare as the sun dawned on the day of Dissension, the holiest day of the Nurati religion. It celebrated the first message received from God by Saint Dast and his 30 disciples. As per tradition, the celebration was held inside the arch sanctuary of Dastrinity, closed to the public eye. This year, however, for the first time ever, it was going to be televised. That was Lucian's idea, as he saw it, granting the people a rare glimpse of the grand ceremony and showing them how seriously their president took this holy event would ease the tensions that lingered following my decree to ban the Workers' Party of Bludia. And so we arrived at the largest cathedral in Sordland. A huge crowd gathered around our convoy as our car pulled up to the entrance. This will work out well. Trust me, sir. Of course, that's only if the prayer is done completely correctly. Please don't forget the order. Yeah, listen. We're going to take some notes. First, you'll need to grasp the holy scepter with your left hand. Then touch the altar with your right. Kneel before the archpriest and wait for him to put the sword on your shoulder. Then touch the sword with the hand you touch the altar with. So with the right hand, hand the scepter over to the archpriest. Receive the sword before passing it on to a disciple. Typing faster than I was talking there. Okay. I spelled disciple terribly wrong as well. Not that it matters for my notes. But alright, cool. Grasp the holy scepter with my left hand, touch the altar with my right, kneel before the archpriest, wait for him to put the sword on my shoulder. Touch the sword with my right hand, hand the scepter to the archpriest, receive the sword, pass it to a disciple. Easy enough. Easy enough. Yeah. Gambling, yes I did. Yes I did. Nice to see something a little meatier. Some interesting stuff to talk about. I was going to try and get something done about that, but I don't often do like videos about blog posts and stuff, so I don't know. But there's some interesting sentences in that blog post. Let's check something real quick over here. Confession before all that. Is there a I actually legitimately I don't remember the day of dissension like events. I remember it was going to be televised. I remember that there was this whole process, but I don't remember the details of it. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah, 100%, Lucian. It's just a ceremony, whatever. I didn't understand a word you said. Yeah, sure. Very good. You will have to go first. I will come inside later, and we will meet up after your part is done. Good luck, sir. Exit the car. I exited the car and was greeted by a chorus of boos. Some people in the crowd began raising signs and chanting in protest of my ban. I ducked my head as the guards quickly ushered me to the grand gates. By the way, Jazzy, you mentioning that reminds me, I do apologize for the rattling of the keys that I'm sure struck your ears as I typed all that out. My apologies. The Arch Sanctuary was a sight to see. With its towering visage, it cast a shadow over a large portion of the city. I had to crane my neck to see the narrow spires at the top. Just standing next to it made me feel awe and dread in equal measure. As I reached the gates, I spotted my welcoming committee. The archpriest and his disciples were waiting for my arrival. At my approach, they all bowed their heads in respect. The archpriest gave me an infectious smile as he straightened back up. Tall and handsome, in his mid-50s, he was one of the youngest and most popular archpriests in history. Some of his more avid followers even likened him to Saint Dast. Mr. President, praise God. It is a blessing to see you on our most holy day again. Welcome, welcome. Bow your head before the archpriest. I bowed my head before the archpriest, which triggered a few murmurs of approval from the crowd. The crowd was still booing angrily. The archpriest turned and raised both of his hands, and everyone immediately fell silent. "O great people of Sordland, once again we are gathered here to honor the day of dissension. I am indescribably happy to be sharing this moment with you, as well as every blood and sword, old and young, tuning in to their television to watch this holy commemoration. In these times of turmoil, we must unite. By the grace of God, the President is here today to show his will to unify our great country. Stay far from evil, O sons and daughters, for evil hides itself under many disguises, disguises such as blasphemy, apostasy, and even alcohol. Be good, my children. Praise God. Praise Sordland." He smiled beatifically as the crowd burst into rapturous applause. After it subsided, he turned to me. "Shall we move inside for your confession?" I feel like there's a good photo op here. I am a despot after all. Pull the archpriest aside for a photo. I pulled the archpriest aside for a photo. Many flashbulbs burned my eyes at the same time. I heard whistles, claps, and cheers from the crowd. Most excellent. Before we went in, the archpriest looked at the crowd and pointed at one man. I turned and followed his finger with my eyes. It was a man holding a picket sign that said, "Stop the Religious Disharmony Bill." As you can see, every man has his faults. So does every president. Ho ho ho, so does every archpriest, it seems. No, I can't make an enemy of this guy. I take it you don't approve of the Religious Harmony Bill? It'd be good to have an idea of where he stands. As much as I'd like to just move on, it'd be good to know if we have a friend in this corner or not. I take it you don't approve of the Religious Harmony Bill? Yes, that's right, but today is not the day to discuss that. He led me through the main hall, which had a stratospheric ceiling and neurist icons lining the walls. We walked up a creaking spiral staircase to the top floor and finally arrived in front of the confession chamber. Right this way. He gestured towards a chair in the dark room. The room smelled of old mahogany and scented candles. The archpriest proceeded to light each and every one of the candles, one for each virtue and vice. "I'll be right with you." He left the room. A minute later, I heard the sound of a sliding window right next to me. He spoke with a very soft voice. "Anton Rain, speak and confess now before the one God, and may he repent your sins on the most holy day of dissension." So, I see the question. As a traditionalist, would we confess everything in the confession? I don't know. It's a tough one. It's like, how much do we believe in the power of confession here? Also, we have an archpriest here who clearly doesn't support a very important religious bill. How much faith do we have in his faith in the faith? You know what I mean? Carl needs to have a word with this clown. You mean the guy holding up the sign or the archpriest? Or both, perhaps? I confess nothing. I haven't sinned. Never admit fault. How's it going, CJ? I feel like 3. I see a couple calls for 2. I feel like 2 and 3 are maybe the most I'm willing to give. I wasn't involved in bribery. Is it a sin to make friends? Is it a sin to accept and give gifts? I don't think so. Don't think there's anything to confess there. Have I been a bad husband? Perhaps. Perhaps I could have been nicer to Monica. Perhaps I could have treated her better. Perhaps I could have explained better to her why our stance is what it is, right? And of course, I can confess that I don't feel like I'm doing enough for Sordland, especially with Hawker, clawing at me, causing me trouble now with this emergency decree that I need to do my best. I feel like, I do have things to confess. Well, I guess we have sinned. We've not done maybe our best. We have some uncertainties. I confess that I'm not sure what I'm doing for Sordland is enough. We'll start with that one because of, the good publicity. We acted in the interest of the Sordish economy. 2 and 3 are wishy-washy enough and not illegal. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. yeah. 100%. Classified coming through with a super chat with some slick timing there. I was not involved in bribery. Bribery was involved in me. I goddamn love it. I goddamn absolutely love it. I imagine that could stand the test of the court. I imagine that works when having to give a statement. Classified, thank you very much, buddy, for the super chat. As always, as I'm sure you're very well aware, it really helps support the channel, really helps support these streams, just keeps it all sustainable. I appreciate it greatly. It's just the ongoing and seemingly endless support. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so very much. And also an excellent line. I was not involved in bribery. Bribery was involved in me. I wouldn't mind that coming up at some point. You do carry a heavy burden on your shoulders. I saw these bags of bribery money. What you have confessed is not a sin, but you may share your burden with me if you like. I did not have bribery with that woman. Ted Knight, goddamn. I still don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I want to centralize power, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. Everywhere I look, I see threats. I'm not sure I can handle them. Some of these show actual weakness. Some of these show actual weakness, which I don't quite like. I could go with 1. I still don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Because to suggest everywhere I look, I see threats. I'm not sure I can handle them. For me, it's between 1 and 3. I don't want to let people know. Well, if 2 is accurate, I want to centralize power, but I'm not going to say I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. Of course I'm ready for it. 1 sounds humble. Conrado says 3. I see 2 calls for 1. Yeah, like I worry. Like is one humble, or is 1? You know, what's it called? The showing a lack of fortitude or a lack of conviction, I suppose. Oh, good point about 3. I didn't think about 3 being an indication of Roomberg, actually. There's a good point there about 3. Sounds a little paranoid, maybe? You know what? Yeah, actually, that could work in our favor. If the Archpriest is like, oh, listen, the President is paranoid. We can take advantage of this. Except I'm not actually paranoid. Everywhere I look, I see threats. I'm not sure I can handle them. CJ, oh my god. I was just showing this woman the pillar of Sordish culture. Are you goddamn... I love it. Wow. I have come across some euphemisms in my time. I've made quite a few of my own. Showing this woman the pillar of Sordish culture is, wow. That's one worth putting on a pedestal. Everywhere I look, I see threats. I'm not sure I can handle them. We must not falter against threats. Otherwise, we shall be consumed by evil. Without eliminating the threats, there can be no serenity. Precisely, Archpriest. I'm glad you understand. Anything else you would like to confess? I confess that I have been a bad husband. Family is the cornerstone of society. Under the watchful eyes of God, men are required to protect their wives and family. But God created us as complex creatures. At times, conflicts rise among us. Tell me, what was your sin? I don't think I regret failing to support my wife at the Benfey Festival. I don't see that as a sin. I was protecting the faith there. But would this be a good test of the Archpriest? It's not paranoia if they're actually out to get you. Yeah, fair point. Like, if I say I failed to support my wife at the Benfey Festival, he might be like, that's not a sin, you did the right thing there. Which, I mean, that's just telling me what I want to hear. I've been neglecting my family due to the stress of my position is also just like... well, what can he say to that? It's like, yeah, you're the president of the country. That comes first. I don't know. 1, I could lean towards 1. Yeah, sure, we could do 1. Because I don't think I agree with 3 being a problem. I believe I did the right thing in not supporting her at the Benfey Festival. If anything, it's a neglect that I actually feel bad about, right? So I've been neglecting my family due to the stress of my position. Tragedy of neglect happens to all working men that feeds his family. Rejoice. God is kind in the matters of family. Anything else you would like to confess? Oh yeah, just a couple bribes. No, that's all for today. I'm guilty of having friends. What do you want from me? Before God, I thank you for sharing. You are now forgiven before God, Anton Rain. May you never sin again. Oh, sorry, Ted. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I'm to protect Monica, if I genuinely believe what I believe in as Anton Rain, protecting Monica involves making sure she doesn't get involved in the world of politics, right? If she gets involved in the world of politics, then I have failed her because I have let her, dive head first into shark-infested waters. Oh, now you got me wanting to watch Braveheart. That's the second time Braveheart has come up in my life over the last 24 hours. I kid you not. Over the last 14 hours, actually, I think, maybe. I'll say 24 to be safe. That's funny. I really want to rewatch Braveheart. It's been some time. The sliding window closed, and the archpriest entered the confession chamber. Aren't these also supposed to be, like, what's it called? Anonymous confessions? Maybe? For the confession to end, you must extinguish the candles representing each one of your virtues and vices. With this, the once burning sins connected to you are now smoke, and then nothing. One by one, I extinguish the candles. Well done, Mr. President. Let's move on to my quarters before the ceremony. He led me through the 1,000-year-old corridors to his office. The smell of dust and old tomes was in the air, along with the scent of burning incense being prepared for the ceremony. Well then, please have a seat. The wooden chair next to him looked like it might turn to dust at a single touch. I sat down gingerly. It was surprisingly sturdy. Are you ready for the ceremony? Absolutely. Very good to hear. He leaned back in his chair comfortably. I wanted to give you something, a gift to celebrate this special day. Excuse me, is this a bribe? Are you trying to bribe me? I'll have you know, I don't do bribes, okay? He pulled out a large rectangular box from his desk drawer. The box was lined with gold and expensive gemstones. A beautiful sight, isn't it? He opened the box and showed me what was inside. It was a dagger. The handle looked like it was made of pure gold and had a very large gem at the end. On the blade, the words were inscribed, Vectern sis da. Victory is close. On the other side, another set of words, King Egmund. This dagger belonged to King Egmund. It is a very important artifact of the Kingdom of Sordland era. It is now yours, Mr. President. Now here's the question. Do we accept this? It is a gift from the Archpriest. How can I say no to this? Sealed, not necessarily anonymous. Gotcha. Okay, I thought they were always supposed to be anonymous. He's gonna give you a gift right between your ribs. I feel like we should accept this. I feel like we have to. We're in God's house. This is a gift from God's man, right? How can I say no to it? We're compelled, obligated even. He's not asking for anything in return, so it's not a bribe. It's an artifact. And truth be told, as a despot, collecting artifacts of our nation's past is just in character. Thank you. It is an honor. Think of the past and think of who we are. Traditions are what brought us to this point. Now then, it should be right about time. A couple knocks were heard on the door and a young boy came in. He bowed before the Archpriest, then me, before letting us know that the ceremony was about to begin. In our previous playthrough, I believe there was a bit of a, not an altercation, but we had a bit of a disagreement when he called us into his office, if memory serves me right. I could be forgetting, but I'm pretty sure he didn't like us in the previous playthrough, so this is promising at least. We made our way downstairs where the ceremony was already in progress. The choir sang angelically as the Archpriest took his position beside the altar. When they finished their hymn, an expectant silence fell over the room. It was time for my part. I started my walk, bowed, and approached the altar. Grasp the holy scepter with your left hand. Grab the scepter with your left hand, then touch the altar with your right. I grabbed the scepter with my left hand, then touched the altar with my right. Scepter in hand, I knelt before the archpriest. The archpriest lay the sword on my shoulder. I touched the sword with my right hand. I handed the scepter to the archpriest and waited for him to give me the sword. The archpriest handed me the sword. I passed the sword to a disciple. I got up and proceeded to my designated spot next to Lucien. He leaned over and whispered in my ear. Compared to last year, that went surprisingly well, sir. My eyes met with the archpriest, and he very slightly nodded. The ceremony went on for another hour and a half. Finally, the noon bells chimed, marking the end of the cathedral service. As I walked outside, I heard scattered boos. A man in a shirt bearing the colors of the British flag shouted that I'd only done the ceremony for show. Lucien hadn't been exactly right about my presence easing tensions, it seemed. We should go before things get heated. We entered our cars and drove back to our suites in Dare. Yeah, he was close enough. I mean, I'm sure it went from being loud, like booing, to scattered boos. I feel like that's progress. Notes do help. Oh yeah, notes are so important, especially for things like that. It's also tradition for a king to have a knife. Is it? I didn't know. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. I guess I've seen it, but I've never known that to be a tradition. It's because of Benfi. Good to know, Jazzy B. Yeah. I'm glad that actually came around to help us. Matthew, really want a grand strategy or city builder to get into? Anyone recommend one, please? I mean, Crusader Kings 3. On the older side, there's Europa Universalis 4. City builders, I've been loving Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. It's in early access, but it's been absolutely fantastic. I've heard a lot about the new Beaver one as well, though I haven't played it myself. I've heard that's apparently really good. I do want to check it out. Yeah, there's quite a few. Spindle, you got to go off to dinner. Sounds good, buddy. Thanks for coming through. Have yourself a wonderful evening, a good night's rest, and hopefully I'll catch you in the Discord soon, bud. And folks, again, yeah, there is the Discord link, thanks, Spindle, in chat as well. If you are not already in there, don't hesitate to join in and ask questions such as, what grand strategy or city builder is there to play? Hang out with some fantastic folks and maybe find some people to play some multiplayer games with as well. But it's a great community. Really proud of what we've built. Over 4,000 people hanging out, just having a good time. Always a good time at the Discord. Anno is great as well. The new Anno is fantastic. I call it new. It's like 3 or 4 years old now, I think. But it's a great game. Lots of DLC as well to flesh it out a bit more. And City Skylines, of course, a classic. City Skylines is tons of fun. Anytime, Matthew. Glad you can make it today. I hope you're having a good Friday. Black Haven Times. The President attends the Day of Dissension. As part of the grand ceremony, the Day of Dissension has begun with festivities in Dare. President Rain was in attendance along with His Holiness Archbishop, who together performed the sacred ritual. The momentous occasion was celebrated by everyone, regardless of their rank and status. Sordland has once again felt unity amidst chaos to come together, forgot their differences, and celebrated the Word of God. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Protests despite emergency. Ever since the incident at the inauguration, the country has been on edge of anarchy. Thanks to President Rain's decisive action with the emergency decree to stop the bloodshed and violence on the streets, the country is on track to regain law and order. Despite this fact, some radical elements have decided that they rather want anarchy and destruction. If the situation persists, the administration will have to enact stronger solutions to protect Sordland and its people. Jesus, I didn't think it could get much stronger and more solution-y than what we're already doing. Holy crap. Tyler, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it too. And Austin Barrett playing Skylines right now. It's such a fun game. I've been meaning to get back to Skylines for a very long time. Can't wait for the Secret Police and Workers and Resources. It's available in the beta build right now. You can get the Secret Police going right now. We're still super late, but thanks thanks to VODs, I can catch up later. Yeah, I'm glad people have been enjoying the VODs. It's good to hear, because I always worry about VODs of live streams and how entertaining they can be and all that. I've received some feedback with regards to how much time I spend distracted by chat. I'm trying to balance that better, but of course that's one of the things with live streams is chat. But yeah, it's great to see people enjoy the VODs. And again, if you do enjoy the VODs and you're watching one right now, don't hesitate to let me know, that you're enjoying them, because it does impact the decision making on this channel. Where's Peter? I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Announcement of the Supreme Court's decision. Wow, this just kind of happens, does it? I thought there would be a more involved process here. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I was eagerly waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court regarding the Emergency Act. I stood up from my chair and looked out the window in my office. Peter was with me too. There he is. He was slouching on the couch at the right side of the office and staring at the ceiling. Good day to you, Mr. President. Am I interrupting anything? It's okay, Olivia. What happened? The Chief Justice has sent you this. She showed me the wrapped object. Thank you, Olivia. You can leave it on my table. I don't want her snooping around. It's a private gift, perhaps. Yes, sir. She walked up and gave it to me. I immediately started to remove the wrapping to reveal a framed photograph. Oh, no. It was an old black and white photograph of Tarkin Saul posing on a destroyed tank at Halsor Square. The building behind him had thousands of bullet holes on it. To the side, a clearly readable slogan. Victory is close, written on its walls. The date? 22nd of May, 1929, was written on the corner with a black marker. I turned to Livia. Interesting. Interesting. What do you guys think this might mean? Victory is close. Victory for us? Is that a coded message? Of Hawker letting me know that we're on the same side? Because, Saul, is Saul pulling the puppet master's strings, so to speak? You know what I mean? Oh, yo, Terra Invicta looks amazing. Not just looks, Terra Invicta feels amazing. Really glad I got to talk about that on the channel. I have more similar stuff coming, actually, on the channel. Hopefully one releasing this weekend. Yeah, I don't think we need to ask Livia about this. We're not going to ask Livia about this. She can go. We'll figure this out ourselves. I think it's good, yeah. I think it's Saul's approval, right? Because if Saul and I didn't get along, then this would be a warning sign, right? But Saul and I supposedly are on the same side to a degree, so this might be a bit of a good sign. Thanks, Livia. You may go now. Livia turned to leave. Hi, Livia. Noticing Peter on the couch, Livia reddened slightly. She gave a small wave, which Peter returned. Mr. Vice President, I'll be leaving now. As soon as she left the room, Peter came right next to me and took a look at the photograph. Oh, a nice present. This must be some kind of... Looks like a lot of negative potential interpretations. This must be some kind of a message. Victory will be close, huh? Orso's getting ahead of himself. The emergency decree was tough on all of my team. We were constantly battling with an opposition against our security measures. Cooperating with the old guard had put me in a very fragile spot, which could backfire at me at any moment. Extending the decree and cooperating with the old guard has put me in a very fragile spot, which felt like it could backfire at any moment. Okay, it's two separate lines of text, like strings in the code that show up for different decisions, I guess. Do you trust Orso Hawker? No, I don't. So, you expect your decree to be declared invalid? I have to be prepared for the worst. I just hope he holds up his end of the bargain. If they declare it unconstitutional, they may potentially try to go against you. We can't face that. Stop whining. Maybe it's time to start making an action plan over here. What do we do? Well, I don't know. People are uneasy with the current security measures and the opposition is growing. If the court decides to side with them, you may lose support from our party too. You just cannot have the court against you, Anton. There's no other way but to get them to your side. Peter looked at me and then continued to stare at the ceiling. But maybe this period has lasted too long already. Oh, don't stab me in the back, Peter. The opposition within our party is also growing. Blutish people are getting more discontent than ever. Bergia region is becoming increasingly volatile. The Ashraf anniversary will happen later this year. Who knows how that'll unfold? Millennialism is on the increase among the protesters. The fights are continuing despite our security measures. What are you saying, Peter? Maybe cooperating with the old guard was a bad idea. Yeah, no kidding. Suddenly, we heard a knock on the door. Lucien came inside and bowed his head slightly. The court has made its decision, sir. They found the decree completely legal and ruled Mr. Richter's complaints invalid. Oh my god, yes! Oh man, I was stressing out. I wasn't sure. Peter being such a negative goddamn Nancy had me stressing out. Oh. Wow. Wow, man. Hot damn. Unlimited power indeed. Sordland has a completely functioning justice system. I concur. Yes, this is amazing. This is huge. I was so sure we were done for. I was so sure we were done for. Man. Hell yeah. Long may reign. I love it. I love it, Aksham. I love it. Yes. Oh my god, that's such a relief, man. That is such a relief. Exactly, Ted. Now we can begin the purge. Execute Order 66. Hello, YT. If you do not want to turn notifications on for YouTube, and if you have Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter, or you can join our Discord. I announce streams on, through both of those streams, if you will, because I know YouTube can be really bad about notifications. So don't hesitate to join either the Discord or follow me on Twitter. Links to both are in the description down below. Thank you, grateful. Thank you, grateful. I am myself quite grateful that the court has seen right. This is great. Oh my god, man. This is great. Thank God. We have no obstacles left now. That will show friends who he's messing with. I knew they wouldn't do it. We have no obstacles left now. Now we can start thinking about the opposition. They're starting to really provoke the people to go out and protest. It is really irresponsible of them to invite people to protest on the streets during an emergency. This cannot end well. Oh, I wasn't ready for a second half of this. Hello, YT. Wait, do you mean like the British sitcom? Yeah, do we arrest Richter? Time to bring back the Kingdom of Sordland era. I mean, I've got the dagger. Do we detain Friends Richter, or do we target the journalists? Targeting the journalists might shut down the radical, but targeting the journalists could, come back and hurt us. What do you guys think? Aksham says Friends Richter. K. Percy says Friends Richter. Oh man, Yes Prime Minister is great. I believe it was Yes Minister first, and then it became Yes Prime Minister, right? It's such a good show. See Ted saying Arends Richter, despite originally joking. Classified says journalists. Richter may be more trouble. More calls for 3. Detain is mild. I was expecting something more exciting. Well, if he's detained, it'll be at Antelrock prison, which means he's never getting out. I see more calls for Richter than for journalists. I think I think Richter is the right call. My worry with arresting journalists is because, see, what happens is when you arrest one journalist, all the other journalists feel threatened, and then they get louder because they're like, you know, so what's he going to do, arrest us all? Right? Which, yes, is the answer, but you can just cause more unrest by silencing the press sometimes. So instead, we'll detain Franz Richter, who is instigating the journalists, who is instigating the overall unrest, I think. It is time to detain Franz Richter. Are we really doing this? We still have the intel about him from Orso Hawker, too. That's true, he has proven connections to Arcasia and has tried to cover his tracks behind international trips for unknown reasons. We can justify his arrest, and the decree will allow us to hold him without trial. Antal Rock awaits him if we go through with it. Well, you can't describe the extents of my power to me and then expect me not to utilize them. He will pay. Take him down. As you wish, sir. I'll make the necessary calls. This is a big move. If there's nothing else, let's conclude the meeting here. They ready themselves before the door. See you later, Anton. They left the office. Yo, that was huge! That was huge! I absolutely love it. Classified, same here, buddy. That was so good. I love how that was written and how that was done. It's just like, yeah, take him down. Oh, that was such a good moment. God damn, I love this game. That was such a good moment. Execute Order 56. True that. True that, Jazzy B. Man, that was great. That was great. I am so glad that worked out. It was stressing me out for the last couple of sessions. I'm so glad that worked out. And now Franz Richter should have been detained. I wouldn't be surprised if, oh, you know what? He might try and escape. He might try and escape. Remains the leader of the opposition. Okay, we'll see what comes of this. It'll be an event, I imagine. Wow. Just arrested the leader of the opposition. Beautiful. What an outcome indeed. Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's session. That final moment there was the cherry on top of, I think, a relatively good session. Seems the faith is with us, apart from a couple of disagreements. It feels as though the Supreme Court is in fact still with us. Saul is with us. Frank has been taken care of. And, you know, as we speak to potential future allies, hopefully Rumburg will be taken care of alongside our economy as well. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to be calling the session. If you had a good time, please don't hesitate to hit that like button on your way out. I do hope you enjoyed yourselves today, because I certainly did. It's nice to be back streaming again. I know it's only 2 streams that I missed, but it feels like an eternity, you know? I'm hoping that next week we can be back on track. Tuesdays have been especially cursed for the last little while, so I do hope we're back on Monday with Crusader Kings 3. That's almost a certainty. It's Thanksgiving weekend, so, you know, it's not like... I mean, I imagine there wouldn't be construction or anything happening. It should be a day off for like 80 to 90% of Canadians outside of like emergency services and stuff like that. So I should be good on Monday. Tuesday, I'm hoping we'll be back with some Phantom Brigade as well. And then Friday, of course, continuing our tale of daring do, as it were. And again, folks, if you are not getting notifications about live streams through YouTube itself, I highly recommend checking out my Twitter or my Discord. I believe the social links were dropped earlier in chat. As you can see, I'm scrolling up through chat right now. There it is. Yes, Ren dropped the social links, so they're a little bit higher up. If you do !social, you can get them in chat, or of course you can find them in the description down below as well. It's a great way to stay up to date just with the channel in general, scheduling changes, you know, when streams are happening. I announce them all the time, but it's also a great way just to, you know, chill with a fantastic community, and it is a fantastic one. So very pleased and proud of the great community we've created, folks. But again, this is, yes, Canada. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, it's gonna be a good time. There's Ren dropping the social links again. So, folks, if you haven't seen them before in chat, then you can see them right now. If PartyBot responds, there's PartyBot. Good job, PartyBot. Folks, again, thank you so very much. I hope you had a good time. I hope you have a wonderful Friday ahead of you. A big thanks, of course, to our super chatters today, as well as all of y'all for coming through and hanging out. And no session is truly done without giving a Massive thanks to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Again, y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. I gotta actually update this, and I will be doing so this weekend. We've got a couple of new members joining in that I should definitely get emblazoned in their rightful places. If you don't have your title in Discord yet either, make sure to hit up either myself or some of the Grand Arbiters, the mods, to make sure you get your title if you haven't automatically been given that by the bots and all that. But of course, beyond our members and patrons, a big thanks to each and every one of you who comes through and watches. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching the VODs, whether you're watching regularly or not, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Folks, have yourselves a wonderful Friday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And if all goes well, I'll catch you on Monday. If all goes perfectly, I'll catch you over the weekend in the Discord. But until I catch you, cheers.